Oh god. Alright, here we go. So this is our 1 hour to 2 hour long Electro House tutorial. This is long because, well, see, thing is, I got 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, obviously, so because this is the website you're on. And that's a lot of people, and I realize that, and I thank you so much for subscribing and giving me a lot of support. I usually get support. I don't always get support, but when I do get support, I thank you. And the more people, the more support, theoretically. But there is like a ratio of support and hate. But there hasn't been too much hate, so I thank you again for that. But you know, thanking is a little overrated. We're gonna do something that's not just thanking, but it's also a demonstration, a display of appreciation, which is me setting quite a lot of time actually aside to make this video, not just, you know, the video itself, but learning how to make Electro House, because I had no idea how to make Electro House. I don't even listen to Electro House, but that's what I've been doing for the past couple weeks. But there was a poll on Facebook, right, that you guys could decide on which genre of tutorial, which style you wanted me to make for the special video, the special tutorial, and that's the thing that won. It was Electro House. So I didn't really get to choose. It was more like the viewers were able to vote. I'm sorry if you weren't able to, you know, go on my Facebook page and like it and then vote, but you know, it's democracy. So the people won. So I guess I have to do Electro House tutorial. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on too much longer since, you know, it's not like it's going to be an hour tutorial or anything. But what I have here is a bunch of silences. Silences. Wow. What's the plural of that? And they're all on the init preset. You just hit menu and then init preset. Still haven't bought it or anything. I'm going to buy it though. I was actually planning on buying it for this tutorial. But then I realized I just didn't have enough money. I'm very close, but I don't have enough money. So it'll happen. It'll happen. So I guess what we're going to do is, the thing is, everybody wanted me to kind of do a Porter Robinson sort of style. So I'm going to do a little bit of Say My Name, a little bit of languages, or is it just language, and a little bit of just my random trance spin-off thing that I do naturally. And hopefully this all just works. But I think what I want to do is I'm gonna get my things. I gotta have a bank of sounds here, of course. So I'm just gonna look for a nice little kick. Yeah, that'll do. And as for the clap slash snare, I think I'm going to go with a snare because I think that's a little bit more appropriate. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go straight into the drop area. I'm gonna do it all in like one pattern because, see, thing is, when I don't know what to do or where I'm going with the track, I'll either make the beat, like the general beat thing first, or I'll just go straight to the climax or drop line. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll drop the tempo to 128 because that's pretty much a golden tempo for a lot of genres. And Electro House is definitely one of those. So the beat is 4x4 most of the time, but you can have kind of a two-step dubstep-y beat. And I listen to Say My Name a lot because I want to kind of listen or refer the drop off of that, and then we kind of do a language kind of bit after that, and then random trancey spin off in between. You'll see what I mean. So this is Silent 1. If you guys don't know, it doesn't come with FL Studio, so you're not going to find it. All these samples back here, you're not going to find it. It doesn't come with FL Studio. These are the Vengeance Essential Club Sound packs. You can also, you know, find other ones, sample packs online. Same for Silent. It's all on the internet. So yeah, this is just a saw. I'm trying not to screw around telling you how to use Silent too much. But as I'm doing something that you guys maybe haven't seen before, I'll probably tell you what I'm doing, like I always do. So I want to make a really kind of big ol' droppy kind of saw thing that initiates the drop, which is very important. You gotta have kind of an initiating thing that just kind of hits you, and that's kind of what's saying, hey, listen, this is the drop now. So it's gonna be this big old super saw type thing that pitches up and then comes back down, similar to Say My Name. So just listen to that song if you'll know what I'm talking about. Obviously, I can't do everything just like Porter Robinson, because I mean I don't even think he used Sylenth for these things. I'm not sure what he used, but you know, since it's probably not Sylenth, then it won't sound exactly the same. Also don't have my MIDI keyboard in front of me for some reason, so I'm kind of just using my regular just typing keyboard. So right here I have the square tooth on an octave lower than the sawtooth, which is just a regular. Retrig off here and retrig on here. So it's only detuned on this side and it's not detuned here. And I'm gonna want like a bit of a drive here, but I want it to pitch, right? So what I'm gonna do for that is I should detach this so you guys can see it, but you can hit here and under the modulation envelope, pitch AB, and if you go up on the modulation knob and then decay up a little bit, it just pitches up and then comes back down to the note that you're hitting. So it kind of gives you a bit of a click. So what I'm going to do to remove that click is just move the attack up a little bit, so there's less of a clicky kind of sound. Alright, so I'm just turning down this section because I want this part to stand out a little bit more, you know, the sawtooth, rather than the low square. So it gives you a bit of that. It's pretty wide, and that's kind of what we want. I'll attach that again. So that's what's going to kind of initiate the drop, right? So that's going to be our first kind of thing that's going to happen. The note that you start on depends on kind of the key that you're in. I think I'm going to start on G sharp, and the key that we're actually going to be in is C minor or D major or D sharp major. I haven't really decided yet, but because see, what we're going to do is I think we're going to start on G sharp, because then we can go up a couple notes and it'll sound nice. So like, let's say our bass line during the song, not during the drop, because usually during the drop there's not much of a bass line, but like, or like a changing bass line, but like for instance, during the song our bass line could go like from G sharp to A sharp to C, right? And we can kind of do something like that during the drop, which is why we'll stay on G sharp. I'll show you what I mean later. So I'm trying not to screw around too much, because I know if this tutorial is really long, then people might not want to watch it thinking that I'm just going to screw around the entire time, but you know, I kind of want to be sort of productive. Alright, so so that's going to kind of be the first part. We're not going to screw around too much with the leveling, with the EQs and all that stuff. I think we're going to save that for last, or at least later, because I kind of want to get the structure set up first. So again, this is going to be the drop, just so I make myself clear. Alright, so we're going to want some basses now. So now we're going to have to make a couple wobbles, things like that. Again, I'm pretty much referring almost perfectly to Say My Name right now anyway, and then we're going to keep doing other stuff because I don't want to just be a Porter Robinson copy, even though people did want to learn how he does his stuff. And I don't really know if this is just me kind of guessing, trying to recreate his music. Yeah, so it's going to be, again, Sawtooth, 8 voices, and then Square Tooth. It's going to be 8 voices. I think I'm going to leave the retrig on. And if you watch my Silent One bass tutorial, then that'll help you out a little bit. Yeah, and then we're going to take the octave, bring it down a bit. Kind of forget what kind of sound I'm looking for here. I don't know if I showed you this, but this is part B, because we have oscillator A1 and A2, so that's 2 oscillators, but we also have an extra 2, so B1, B2, just so you guys know. So this is another saw. So we got one saw here, and a square tooth here. So now we're on part B. I'm going to add Q pulse as well. Actually, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I couldn't really decide exactly what I wanted as far as the general character of the sound. So I might just edit whatever I did there out. I was just hitting the notes a million times trying to find the sound I wanted. But all I was doing is phasing through all these different sounds, all these different waveforms. I was phasing them through so that I'd get a specific kind of character that I wanted. Something like that. I don't know if I'm completely satisfied, but you can always change it. Alright, so what we're going to have to do is, to make the wobble, I'm sure you guys know this, is you got to have a filter cutoff. So on both sides, we're going to make low pass cutoff. So cutoff A, cutoff B, and it sounds like this now. And then we're going to have to make a modulation, LFO on the cutoff knob, both of them. So the AB, which is technically it'd be just this one and that one. However, it's kind of just like using the master cutoff knob. So having that at around 5 value, make sure you look up here whenever I'm changing knobs so you kind of know where they are. So having that at 5, the rate will keep it up pretty quick actually. And so that's going to be like 1.8 right now, and we might make that even faster. And I'll just put the gain to 12 o'clock. Yeah, we'll have that a little bit faster. So 116. And yeah, we might have to mess with that a little bit. I want to have enough so that you know it's wobbling, but like I still want to hear those high frequencies. So I'm gonna turn up the cutoff here really high to the very top. So that's, I don't know, it's about 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm hoping that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm kind of listening to this through my headphones in one ear. So essentially what we're going to do that's it. That's pretty much, that's the basic thing. I kind of want to have it so that it drops a little bit. So I'm gonna link the kick to insert one, and I'm gonna sidechain it through the kick. So if I just have this outlined and underneath the silent 2, which I guess might have to rename this stuff. So bass 1. So now they're kind of like a sub mix, and then we're gonna have to go to the limiter and the compressor section, sidechain 1, threshold. I don't really know, just a little bit lower, and then the ratio a little bit to the right. And something's happened with this big old saw here, which I'm gonna rename to saw. So what the hell, we might as well just link that as well. So here we go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we got the first like half of a measure there, and we're gonna keep on building from this. And I think that's kind of how you get that drop going. It's just having a bank of sounds and kind of bringing them in that way. And it takes a lot of imagination as well, because you kind of have to like imagine what should come next, and it's a lot of sounds coming in at once, right? So that's what kind of makes it hard. I think I'm gonna get like a percussion kind of sample, so just something like kind of airy. Maybe something like that at some point. I mean, that could work at some point too. So again, this is kind of like just collecting your samples and your sounds, essentially, that you think might work. So I'm gonna take that, and here you can kind of mess around with the sample itself. I'm gonna make it a lot shorter, so the out knob, I'm just gonna bring it up. So it just sounds like that. This is the kind of part that I'd have to maybe listen to another song to kind of know where to finish this, because I have no idea where we're going. Because I don't want to reuse this saw, because I mean I want this to just be on every like other first beat. So like if we use it again, it might get a little annoying. And I'm gonna clone that bass and have bass 2. And the only difference really is we're gonna make it so that the rate of the cutoff fluctuating is gonna be at 1/8T. So it's kind of swingy in that sense. And then we're gonna clone that again, and we're just gonna remove the whole fluctuation. So you can do that any way you want. I like to just remove one of the options or the link itself, and then just keep all the settings. So now it just kind of sounds like that. I'll bring the cutoff a little bit higher. We might do a little bit of modulation there. So I think that'd be considered a pretty basic drop. So what I'm doing here in the modulation is just making so that the cutoff goes from a low point and then comes up slowly. So you can kind of hear that. It's similar to just having a pluck, but just reversing it. So you're bringing it over to the 9 o'clock side. All right, so who knows where this is gonna go. I think that would be a pretty good time to stop and think kind of where this is gonna progress, how we're gonna bring it to this, and we're kind of starting from the middle, which is a little awkward, but I mean sometimes I do like to make songs that way. So this is my pattern 1 here. I know a lot of people will ask, how do you get the underbar thing there? So just go to general settings and enable legacy pattern blocks right at the bottom, and yeah, so just options, general settings, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna split it by channel that way, and that's it. So now all our channels are split into different patterns, which is really, really nice. So we're gonna have the bass drum, or the kick, just beating here, and I guess we'll keep that one percussion thing we had. That was kind of nice. I mean, that could work as an intro, but we definitely need more than just that. I think I'm going to mess around with the percussion pattern itself. So I'm actually going to clone that, make it a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to use that right there, and I'm just going to bring it over to that shorter version. And obviously if we brought all those channels that we just had and just layered them on top of each other, eventually we'd get that same drop sound. Alright, but we're gonna definitely have to have more than just that, because that's just gonna get really annoying, isn't it? So we have to make more sounds, more variation of instruments, because I guess it's not enough. It's too much bass, less sound effects and shit. So we're gonna have to try to make some of those. I want to make something that pitches up again, pitches back down, and similar to the saw that we made. Sounds like this. I want to make that, but just kind of pitching down and fluctuating with the pitch. So I don't know how to explain it really. You'll see what I mean. So what I could do actually is I could just clone this, right? And then I'm going to add an LFO on the pitch. So we have a pitch coming down, right? We also have the pitch fluctuating back and forth, and it's going to fluctuate pretty fast as well. Now for pitch LFOs, you typically want the gain to come up just a little bit. I'd say about 24 is alright. I can start at 20. So the gain knob right here is only at 0.20, which is very well. It's it's really low. It's not much gain at all. And the rate, we'll bring that up to like 1/32. That's really a fraction. See, obviously now you can really hear it. We'll probably want less of that detune. So yeah, something like that. I don't know if that's really gonna work or not, but we'll just see if that fits in the song. And of course, we're gonna leave it on G sharp for now. Yeah, something like that. And I want to change the bass at the end as well, or just change it all around together. Maybe we could change the bass tone as well, or even bring in some saws. I have these two init presets here, so we'll make a couple super saw type trancey stuff. And I can hear my mom coming back from the grocery store, so I might have to go help her out in a second. So the bass note being G, we want to kind of bring it up. So for instance, if it started on G, we want it to go up the scale, so the next two notes would be A sharp and C. Just those two notes in red. So maybe if you have something like this, C is the major third, I think, of G sharp. So it'd be something like that. Yeah, it's my mom. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, so where were we? So I guess we're gonna make this chord thing. Wow, my workflow has just been completely disrupted. Okay, so hopefully if we put that here, it'll sound good, but chances are it won't, because it'll sound really out of place, which is hard to fix for a lot of these things. So I think what we'll do actually is we're gonna keep this note here, and we're gonna have this note fade in for the half of the measure, so people can sort of expect it happening very quickly. So I'm just making the exact same instrument here, but I want this one to fade in, so I'm just gonna bring the attack up, and that's good enough, hopefully. Okay, well, this thing kind of got in the way. Okay, so we could do something where it goes through the ninth measure here, but then it'll go back into it, so we'll have like a one measure sort of pause. And then I realized how unnatural that sounds, so we're gonna bring it back here. I don't really like where this thing here is. I think what I'll do is I'll replace this saw and just have it go on every second. And I think I'll increase the release in both of those, so I'm just going to bring that up. So even though the sound will be done, it'll still release a little bit more sustain at the end. So that can be kind of helpful. Alright, so we're going to make the bass 1 pattern a whole lot longer so that we can switch it so that it goes up with the lead. So essentially our bass line so far is just G sharp, like this, and then it'll go up after. That makes sense, hopefully. It does. Something like that. Maybe not. I'm struggling. Actually, we'll do that with bass 3 because bass 3 doesn't really have any wobble to it. I don't want that wobble, so it's gonna have that. I'll bring back the first kind of fade in saws. What's going on? Yeah, I'm just gonna edit this out. Alright. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna bring this down. Wow, I feel like I've lacked a lot of emotion today. I'm actually just trying not to suck. This is me concentrating actually, because I'm really unfamiliar with this genre, and I know I'm already at 36 minutes, and I guess I do kind of have a drop going here, but this will be good by the end of it. Don't give up. Don't quit on me here. All right, so let's see. That was all right. Instead of making these intervals, I think I'll make them full chords. So again, I'm just using the notes from the scale. I think the scale here would be D sharp major, so if you want to look that up, you can also go into an empty channel and get out the picture, which is a lot of a thing that I do a lot, and just go major and D sharp, and the lit notes will tell you what notes are from the scale. So C, D, D sharp, F, G, G sharp, A are all the notes that we can hit while making this song. All the ones that aren't lit are songs that are notes that you would hit, but they would sound out of tune and out of place, and you probably don't want to hit those notes. So I kind of know the scale by heart. Here is A sharp and D sharp, F. A nice kind of clear sound, and then I always like this chord C, A sharp, and see, that sounded nice. Come on, guys. You guys, you heard that. Right. Okay. So I'd like to say that the drop is done, but you know, we're pretty much far from done. But I think the more stuff that we add, the easier it is to keep going and to find more ideas. And that can also not be true at all, and I could just be kind of pulling that on my ass. I kind of am. But hopefully these ideas help. When I can't find anything to, or if I don't know what to add to my song, for example, a lot of the times I'll just go listen to another song that kind of sounds similar to my song or not at all, and then I'll be like, oh hey, what if I took that instrument or that note or whatever and put it somewhere around here, and that can really help. I might actually go do that right now and just pause the video. 1 sec. Okay, so I know this probably sounds really stupid because I'm just kind of randomly skipping tones or whatever, but I just went to go listen to what I was practicing on earlier and another track, and I think what I'm gonna do is, I mean, this is really small, but I think we're gonna add just a saw just a saw right here at the end of every second measure or whatever, except for here obviously, because that's where this saw comes in. We're gonna have something similar to this, but just without the pitch. So this is gonna be saw number 3, and it's gonna be, I guess it'll be on an empty pattern, of course. And it has to be kind of distorted sounding, but just no pitch like the other one. I don't know how to explain it. It's gonna sound kind of broken and distorted, but still kind of thin. I don't know. Does that make sense? And I think we're gonna do that by having just a regular saw there with no distortion or anything, and maybe have a square tooth that's sort of distorting and like is all detuned and stuff. And we're going to use the distortion plugin on Silent. So again, I'm not really doing anything too much different. I'm just messing around with the filters, add a little bit of resonance on the full cutoff to add brightness and a little bit of drive. The only thing I really changed was the distortion, So without the distortion, sounds like this. With it, sounds like that. Really just minimal changes as far as I'm not really showing you anything too new here. And it's surprising that the same basic sounds can give you pretty different instruments. Okay, another thing about this saw is it's not going to end on G sharp, it's going to end on C, and that will help bring out the change in chords here at the very end. Right, so if I put that here, actually, I think that might actually be too long, just a quarter of a measure, and we don't want that. I don't think we want that bass there, so we're going to remove that, just cut that out, and then we're going to replace it with that saw that we just made. Okay, I think it needs a little bit more wideness. So I'm going to bring in another saw. Copy paste the filter. Actually make it so that it fades in a little bit as well. And I mean, we could make it an interval or a chord or something as well. Yeah, the fade in was a little bit slow there, so I'll make it shorter. And I probably should make a couple more basses or something. I don't know. So I think we do have, yeah, we still have another empty. And actually, no, I should just be using these bases because they're linked to the mixer. So I'm just gonna clone that and base 4, and then just gonna go on another empty channel or empty pattern. So that's what we got right now. We'll just go through the init preset, and I kind of want to distort this one, so we're gonna add it. It's gonna be kind of like a yeah kind of bass, but it'll be a vowel of some sort. It'll be kind of broken sounding. Hopefully it sounds nice. So that's kind of the whole point. It's really trial and error at this point. And how about we make it kind of fade in, but without using the amp envelope, we'll use the modulation envelope on the cutoff. I think we've all heard that before. I actually wasn't even expecting that, to be honest, but what do you know? So we'll use that, and it'll be on every offbeat like this. So it'll be like, that's a little short. Okay. Hopefully this sounds alright. So yeah, that might actually work. It sounds alright. We could keep it. Okay, so you can't just have that come in and just go back into what you had before. Once you brought in the chords and shit, there's no going back. You gotta implement those chords in the next part of the drop, which is what we're gonna do. So no idea how I'm gonna do that actually. We'll start with kind of like, instead of having that saw here, instead of having that, we'll just have a saw coming from this bit. So I think I'm gonna rename this in the patterns down here, even though you guys can't see it. I just kind of need to know what's going on, so I'll just call it like chords, even though the H is capital. And I'll do the same thing for this on the silence. So those nice all trancey stuff, that's just gonna be called chords. Same thing here, just chords. And fade chords, because those ones fade in. And yeah, so they're kind of stringy, kind of trancey. Yeah, so if I copied, or I don't have to copy it actually. I'm actually going to have this kind of echo on the offbeat, and we're going to do it manually. But we're going to have to mess around with the basses so it kind of works. Actually, instead of having it offbeat like that, I'm going to have it just regular. We're gonna use this new pattern, and we're gonna make this pattern link to the mixer, and we're just gonna use gross speed. I don't really want to do the side chaining process with the kick again. So it's the exact same thing, it's just side chaining. But the thing is, everything else is pretty unison, so that's kind of screwing everything else up. But if you want to have the patience to change everything so that it doesn't sound quite as unison on G sharp, and to work with the chords, then that'd probably be a good idea. But I think I'm going to try to make the chords work with the unison. Just gonna make the side chain a little less, or a little more dramatic, I guess. Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely change some things around with the drop, or kind of like the basses or whatever. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that yet. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is going to have the chords kind of come in here. And we're not going to bring in the chords until the very next section. So it'll be like this section here, right? But that section will probably be completely different, so it'll be easier to implement the melodic stuff and the maybe more of the language, Porter Robinson stuff. But instead, what we're going to do, because we're going back into basses and we just heard like this big old nice sounding saw, to kind of ease the satisfaction of going back into the bass, I guess, I don't know if that really makes sense, is we're just going to have this nice really, really high pitch kind of saw sound, and I think it's just going to pitch down. So I know we're doing a lot of like pitched down stuff, but it's used quite a lot actually. I guess we'll have a sine wave in there as well. Might as well. And so that'll be kind of the high pitched thing, right? And it's just gonna be kind of doing this. In the background. And another thing you could do is you could have the pan, right, fluctuate, like LFO on the pan. And I mean, if you guys know what the pan is, it's just when the sound switches from the left ear to your right ear. So we could have it so that it switches every kind of note like this, so every quarter of a measure, so it'd be 1/4, I think. So a quarter, and just gain all the way up, I guess. Or actually, we can make it half. I don't know if that's really working or not, actually, but anyway, so what we're going to do, we're just going to have that on top here throughout the, and actually we might have to make it so that it fades out, so we'll just kind of have like a create automation clip thing on the volume on the channel here, and just kind of make it fade. Not a big deal at all. It's a little loud right now. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Let's put it on the offbeat, actually. Okay, right, so we're about to hit an hour. Man, I'm I'm getting a little tired. So next part, which is this bit here, is kind of our open canvas for making the chords kind of come in, and this is going to kind of be the more melodic, nice part. And I know the drop has been kind of disappointing. It sounded good at first. Now I don't really know what to do with it because there's so much bass kind of taking up all the room. But and I mean, I don't really want to just mess around with it too much, because then we'll be way over an hour or 2 hours. Like, most of my songs take 10 hours at least to make. So obviously I'm trying to get through this. So yeah, well, I think we'll be good to start doing the chord part, the nice part. And then right here, I'm gonna want to have a bit of like a melody, like do 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 kind of thing, right? So gotta make the sound for that. Of course, I might actually just use one of my sounds from my preset pack called Dreamer, and yeah, I think I'll just use that. And I'm just going to remove all this so I don't screw myself up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this sounds. Okay, so we're gonna have to have those chords on top of that. Oh, okay. Okay, so our new bass line is this. It's pretty simple, and it kind of goes along with those two key notes, which is the perfect fifth, and I don't really know what the A sharp, but I think that's just the major second. So, or wait, no, it's not. It's the no wait. I'm sorry, guys. Did I tell you I was feeling really sick lately? Yeah, past 2 weeks I've been really tired, so I'm still trying to get over that. Right, so the D sharp here is the unison of the scale. It's like D sharp major, right? And then the A sharp or the B flat, that is the perfect fifth. So that's kind of why those notes go really well for all the bass line notes. But that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't change them. I also want to add another, or do I? Actually, no. I'll use that same Dreamer preset, but I'm gonna remove the mono legato thing and just make it so that it can last like as long as I want it. And I'll use that as kind of a backup layer for my main lead because it sounds really nice. So right now our main chords are being used by both this here, which I don't even know why I'm showing you guys, because I mean this is part of the preset pack that I still yet have to release. But you know, hey, it's gonna work well for the song hopefully. So. So, you know, the main thing for most EQ would be to just kind of high pass a lot of the stuff, except for the basses, of course, and the kick. Definitely the kick. Sometimes you do high pass the basses, so I shouldn't really say that. But for the most part, you know, it's everything but the drum and bass that you high pass. Obviously, we will make it so that this does go well together. You know, obviously it's kind of sudden and you don't really see it coming that, you know, it's gonna sound all nice all of a sudden. So obviously we're gonna make a little transition. We're not just gonna keep it like how it is now. But yeah, I might not even keep that. So one sec. We are gonna have to have a bass underneath these chords because they're not kind of powerful enough. So yeah, let's make a bass. We'll make another one, and this one really just has to be simple. I made this exact bass in the FL Studio Silent One bass tutorial. Yeah, you can see my brain is starting to shut off now just because I don't even know what I'm doing. But yeah, I really am pretty tired. Yeah, so that's just gonna it's gonna follow the chords here, and it's just gonna be kind of a foundation for those chords, because I want them to have a little bit more power, and I want to actually have like a bass underneath this at all times. So just taking that same bass line, which is underneath here in red, we're gonna bring that over here. And also at the end of every measure, or not every measure, but at the end of every kind of section, we gotta have that exact same thing like right here. We gotta kind of have that so that it makes kind of sense. So I think having it here and after that as well. Wait. No, it has to be, yeah, it has to be there. And this has to be right here. And we'll make sure the bass kind of follows that as well. I might actually make this kind of hit like the chords every beat, every I don't even know what I'm talking about. I want this to do this effect, which I'm about to show you in a second, that I've showed you in the last silent tutorial. And we're going to want to kind of layer a melody on top of this. And it can't be too much in the midsection because we have a lot going on there, which is kind of making a bit of a mess. And hopefully I'll be able to clean that up. right, we're gonna keep that for now. I want to kind of wrap this up now because we don't have anything else but a drop that we made in an hour. So I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna have the drop start at maybe either 64 measures, right, of an intro, which is quite a bit, maybe actually 49. And essentially this is part of the intro. Essentially we're just gonna have something similar to Say My Name, where it just kind of gets right into it. So something pretty minimal, not very much going on. I'm also gonna do a little bit of compression on the kick and EQ as well. So I like to do compression first and then EQ. So I'm not really gonna get into this too much as well. I like to make the talk a little bit, or the punch a little bit more bright, and less of that. Not too much oomph, not too much bright talk or punch. It just has to be just right. I like to have it somewhere around here, ratio 5. At least where I feel like I'm isolating everything, and then bringing that gain up about where it was originally before I kind of turned it down. And yeah, now we have to EQ it. I'm certainly no professional, especially if my my headphones in one ear. But yeah, just kind of get something. I like to play the kick over the actual drop, or the most kind of important part of the track, and then kind of tweak it from there. And yeah, we also want that snare linked as well. We could also just, people have been yelling at me to do this, so I'll just do it, and then link starting from this track, and now we got all those 5 links here. So yeah, similar thing with the snare. We're just gonna EQ that. And yeah, we probably want to add more than just that. So if you listen to a lot of the more popular tracks out there, the intro actually has a lot more sounds happening than you actually first perceive. There's a lot of little detail added. So if you can try to add little things like that, not very loud or anything, usually nicely stereo image like this, maybe you'd want to do something with that. Oh wow. Oh, I'm getting so tired. And then you want to add in some hi-hats, because that's a big one as well. So the hi-hats, this can be kind of tricky sometimes for some of you if you're making dubstep and stuff. I find the hi-hats can be kind of hard because they're so pronounced over the basses. I don't know if you guys really notice that, but I guess this is electro house and not dubstep, so just have the same old 4x feet. 4x feet. Oh my Christ! I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep right after this, guys. Don't even worry about it. Thing is, I didn't want to make this tutorial really late just because I've been tired for 2 weeks and there might be something wrong, because I'm not really gonna know what's wrong for another week or so, and then I gotta get better. So I just thought, like, hey, might as well go for it. But yeah, we're just gonna make this kind of hi-hat thing. That's very, very common. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Something like that. Obviously, you're gonna want to add a couple more sound effects in there, but I'm really just not gonna bother. So yeah, 16 measures is pretty good for an intro. Like, a lot of the times, that's all you need. But you know, 32 would be like, the DJ would probably rather 32 bars because it's just easier. But you know, if you don't want to do that, it's fine. We don't really have enough sounds to keep going to keep it interesting, so I think we're just gonna go straight to and then there's gonna be a sound effect that will come in. I'll just use a sample. I don't really feel like making noise or anything. Something like that. It does cut off a little bit though, so we're gonna have to add some reverb. It's good for the stereo anyway, isn't it? So I'm just trying to brighten up the reverb, bringing up the low cut because we don't want that to mess around with the bass too much. And we're gonna have to add another delay because the delay just stops randomly, which is really annoying. Yeah, that should be alright. Turn that down a little bit. I'm also gonna EQ it so that the kick isn't so pronounced. And then right there will be kind of something nice that could be very similar to what we had. So if I copy or clone that chord, actually you can't see what I'm doing. All I did is I just cloned the selected chords pattern down here, and I'm gonna keep this dreamer stuff happening right here, and just the nice, just kind of arpeggioed style. Just gonna get rid of all this, and I'm gonna bring this higher so you guys can see it. And the best thing here would just be using a cutoff. So looking at the master cutoff, and we're just gonna bring it down a little bit, somewhere around there, and we're gonna browse perimeters, and then there's the filter cutoff right there, already outlined. Create an automation clip, and of course we're just going to bring that up as the song progresses. And we're gonna add some chords to go on top of that. Again, this can be very similar to what happens at the second part of the drop, which is probably a good idea so people they aren't too surprised when they hear it, I guess. So I guess we could just take these chords and put it on top of here. But we're going to start it off pretty unison, okay, for the first little bit. I don't know how long. But this is a good way to get people kind of settled with the sound. Making it so that okay, I need to slow down here. Okay, so if you have the chord, right, going at the same notes, right, if they're not changing, if the chord progression isn't changing the first bit, and then you make it change afterwards, right, is what I'm trying to say. we'll make it a lot more effective because people will be able to kind of get used to the sound, get comfortable, and then it'll start changing, so it'll be even better. This doesn't always work, obviously, but you know, I think we'll try it. Oh, and same thing with the cutoff. We need to make that cutoff happen. So again, cutoff is here, exact same process. Oh. And then that would probably be a good time to make it so that they change back to what you hear in the second part of the drop. So I'm just gonna grab those again because I lost them. And bring those down as well. Kind of getting in the way. So we're just making this really long pattern here. Just keep doing that. Alright, so people are not going to realize that this is like the opening of the track, so that you're going to kind of have to add something like, I mean, obviously you could add this effect back in, like another crash. I guess that does kind of work. It'd be kind of repetitive, but who cares? Just for this, we won't really bother too much. We're already at an hour and a half. Okay, how long has this been running for? So the first bit here, it's only been 8 measures, and then this has been a good 16. So I think what we'll do is we'll have to go back to the first bit so that people know that it's building. So if we go back to that unison, and then it's just gonna hit you really hard, isn't it? Something sounds really strange there. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna take a look at that in a second. I'm losing my ability to speak. I actually have a little bit of water here. Yeah, kind of forgot about that. So what I was doing while the drop was playing, so you guys could listen to it, was just made a little bit of a kick roll snare thing. But we're gonna have to make it fade in a little bit. Boom. And we could also make it even smaller if you go into the magnet, 2 steps, and then we can make it a lot smaller than that. Wow, is that the second time? I'm done. Okay, alright. I didn't answer. I didn't really bother. So we're back. That right there was the 1/3 step version position right there, so it's pretty useful. It's similar to the 1/8 T kind of thing that we had with the wobble. I don't know if you guys remember that. But if you want to know more about the 1/3 position, I did make a tutorial about it, like melody wise. I'll maybe leave an annotation if I remember, if I'm not sleeping. But yeah, so God, I mean, I kind of feel like a jerk right now just because of how irritated I am, but I genuinely am sick and tired, and not kind of in the jerk way. I just really am sick and I really am tired. But yeah, I hope you guys understand, and I'm making a decent amount of sense. I think I made a pretty nice track in the amount of time that we had. So anyway, yeah, we'll see if this kick thing sounds okay. Alright, it's already getting pretty loud, so we're gonna have to turn that down. I want to make a bit of a tom kind of drum roll type thing before before it really drops, because the thing is we already have this little bit of space. Porter Robinson does do that a little bit as well, but you know, obviously a lot of people do that. It's the thing. So we're gonna need to find a bit of a tom like instrument, drum tom, floor tom. Okay, something like that, and we're gonna need maybe something else. Might be able to use that one, I don't know. Okay, so we got these three things, and we could also just use the snare as well, so I don't know, something like that, and then we can just kind of put that right before the drop, and maybe it'll work. It's a little too much. There we go. And a good idea is to have that opening thing, maybe the saw. Sometimes the bass works as well, kind of come in during the build as well. So having a bit of a saw pattern that way would work pretty good, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure how we can put that on top of some nice like that. But we're gonna try. Yeah, we'll keep the pitch. Not sure if this is actually gonna work or not. Oh wait, no, that's way too fast. We're gonna do the similar thing that we did with the high pitch saw thing around the halfway through the drop. And we're gonna have something in between those. This actually sounds a little bit like languages, doesn't it? And yeah, we're gonna have to make it so that it fades in a little bit more. I know I'm not really being as in depth as I usually am, and I mean, I hope you guys understand again about that. And we're gonna need something else because it sounds too bland. Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds alright. Messing with the modulation there. Who knows how this is gonna work with this. I've been kind of saying that a lot. Who knows? I've been saying those two words quite often, actually. But yeah, that's just kind of like the whole point of this, because I don't usually make this kind of music. I'm just making the patterns, layering them on top of other stuff, and I'm just kind of letting it go and hoping that it all kind of works. I mean, that sounds pretty good, actually. I mean, for an hour and a half or whatever, 2 hours, I mean, I think that's a lot done. And maybe we'll have a little bass fade in there, and then I think we'll probably leave it at that. You see me just saving over and over. This is something that I do a lot whenever I start having a track like half finished or whatever. I'm always saving it, even though I do just very, very small things. And it's a good idea to do that, because you never know when your internet, or not your internet, but your computer is just gonna crash, or I don't know, the power is gonna go out, and you know. So what's our first bass sound like? Okay, we're gonna have that come in. Obviously a lot slower. yeah, I think that'll do. Oh, this is not an empty pattern. So whatever. And okay. So there wasn't enough memory on my hard drive to finish that recording. This is the next day, by the way. And yeah, so I had to stop the recording. I started freaking out, thinking I would lose everything. There was a little message that came out saying like, okay, listen guys, you have to stop the tutorial. Your hard drive is going to explode. So I started deleting all this stuff from the previous tutorials and whatever. So we're all good. And yeah, so what I did after that was I kind of finished the track. Not really. I just kind of touched it up a bit. Same thing for this morning. Removed a couple things like that stupid sound effecty sawy thing that I made, like I don't know, around the build section. I removed that because I didn't realize how awful it was until I got some sleep and my sanity just kind of came back. Although I'm still pretty tired and it's like only 11 o'clock in the morning. So yeah. As for live streams, those will be coming very soon. I still gotta kind of test a couple things out and make sure that everything is good to go. That'll be pretty fun. It'll be a lot like what I'm doing here in this tutorial, just long, just making a track or whatever. It's basically whatever you guys want, because you guys will be basically the influential aspect of where the production goes. You guys will be able to make decisions for me, because a lot of the times I don't know what I'm doing, and then I freeze up. So hopefully you guys will be able to be like, hey, do this, or if you guys have questions on the spot while I'm producing, then maybe I'll take a look at the chat, I'll see your question, and then I'll choose whether or not I want to answer the question. But I'm sure most of the time I'll answer them. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'll probably be getting the whole YouTube partnership thing, because I think it's time. I think it's time I go that direction. So if that's the case, I'll have a more regular upload schedule. I say that, I make no promises, because knowing me, I'll probably just like be lazy and not make tutorials any more than I already do. But you never know. With live streams, I'll probably just upload the live stream to YouTube for the people who weren't able to join us. And yeah, so there you go. That's basically it. Thank you so much for watching the long ass tutorial that I just made. And if you haven't actually watched the entire thing, I don't really blame you. Hopefully I'll have little messages kind of telling you where to go, but for the most part it was just a pretty improvised tutorial. I didn't really get into a lot of the more electro housey styles. I just did a totally like generic dubsteppy electro stuff, because that's what kind of the people kind of wanted, that Porter Robinson style. I keep mentioning him. I'm not Porter Robinson. It doesn't really sound anything like him, but it's still pretty close. So that was kind of the objective, and it's good to kind of go into songs with someone or a group of people in mind and try to replicate their style and incorporate yours in the song as well, which is kind of what we did here. I might even make another electro house tutorial at some point, which is more of the what you hear in those mixes on YouTube that I listened to for the past couple weeks. But yeah, so there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for subscribing. And I love you.